The room collapsed into suffocating silence as the word malignant left my lips. The delicate pink onesie I'd been folding slipped from my fingers, landing in a crumpled heap among silver-wrapped baby shower gifts. For 3 heartbeats, no one moved, then my sister's laughter sliced through the quiet, sharp and cold. Are you serious right now? Olivia's voice rose as she cradled her 8-month pregnant belly. You're dropping a cancer diagnosis at my baby shower? This is my day, Penelope. My one special day, and you have to steal the attention with your minor issues. The temperature in the pristine living room seemed to drop 20 degrees. Around me, 24 guests, family members, friends, and Olivia's medical colleagues from Riverside Cancer Center, shifted uncomfortably in their seats. I felt a strange buzzing in my ears, like distant static, as the room began to narrow into a tunnel. Minor issues. The words hung between us as tangible as the baby shower banner draped across the fireplace. My sister, an oncology resident who treated cancer patients every day, had just dismissed my diagnosis as an inconvenience to her party schedule. My name is Penelope, I'm 36 and a medical transcriptionist. This is the story of how I turned my sister's dismissal of my cancer into the diagnosis that ended her medical career. For months, I'd noticed the subtle shifts in our family dynamic. Each time I mentioned my doctor's appointments, the mammogram that found something suspicious, the biopsy that followed, Olivia had rolled her eyes, suggesting I was being dramatic about what was probably nothing. Our mother would quickly change the subject to Olivia's pregnancy, her medical residency, her perfect life. When Dr. Katrina Williams called during the shower with my biopsy results, I'd stepped away quietly, holding the phone against my shoulder while still folding baby clothes. Stage 2, but very treatable if we act quickly, she'd said gently. We need to schedule your surgery as soon as possible. I hadn't planned to announce it at the shower. But when I returned, Olivia had confronted me immediately. Are you seriously on your phone right now? The least you could do is be present. When she demanded to know what was so important, the truth had simply tumbled out. Now I watched as my sister, top of her medical school class, married to a cardiothoracic surgeon, third-year oncology resident, stood in her cream maternity dress that cost more than my monthly rent and systematically dismissed my cancer. Oh please, Olivia continued, waving her hand dismissively. I'm an oncology resident. I see real cancer every day. If they're doing a lumpectomy, it's early stage, probably a tiny tumor, barely anything. You'll have a quick surgery, maybe some radiation, and you'll be fine. It's not like you're dying. My father started to speak, but Olivia cut him off. No, Dad. I'm sick of Penelope always finding ways to make everything about her. My engagement party, she had the flu. My wedding, she had food poisoning. My baby shower, suddenly she has cancer. She made air quotes around the word cancer. It's always something, always some drama to pull focus. I stood frozen, humiliation burning through me as guests stared at their plates or exchanged uncomfortable glances. My mother sat silently, making no move to defend me. I wasn't trying to steal attention, I said, my voice steadier than I expected. You asked why my doctor was calling. I answered. You could have waited, Olivia snapped. You could have kept your minor medical issue to yourself for 2 hours so I could enjoy my shower. Something shifted inside me, a tectonic plate of patience finally fracturing after years of pressure. In that moment, I saw clearly what my sister truly was, not a healer, but someone who wore empathy like a fashionable coat, easily removed when inconvenient. Is it stage 2? She continued, her tone professional and cold now, like I was a patient she was dismissing. What's the tumor size, hormone receptor status, lymph node involvement? I don't know all the details yet, I admitted. Dr. Williams just told me. Dr. Williams, Olivia's eyes narrowed. Patricia Williams? She's your oncologist? When I nodded, she laughed again, sharper this time. Oh, this is perfect. Do you know who Dr. Williams is? She's the most conservative oncologist at Riverside. She treats everything like it's a crisis. She probably scared you with worst-case scenarios when you've got a barely significant tumor. It's why the rest of us call her Panic Patricia. I noticed several of Olivia's medical colleagues shifting uncomfortably. Particularly Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the oncology department chair, whose eyes hadn't left my sister's face since the word cancer was mentioned. She said it was malignant, I said quietly. That we needed to act quickly. Everything's urgent to Patricia, Olivia said dismissively. Look, Penelope, I'll do you a favor. I'll look at your pathology report tomorrow and give you a real assessment, not Patricia Williams' fear-mongering version. I guarantee you're freaking out over nothing. That's when Dr. Rodriguez spoke up, her voice calm but firm. Olivia, perhaps this isn't the appropriate venue for this discussion. I'm just trying to reassure my sister, Olivia said, smiling at her department chair. She tends to be anxious. I deal with oncology every day. I can give her the real picture instead of letting her spiral over what's probably a very manageable situation. Even manageable cancer is still cancer, Dr. Rodriguez said quietly. Of course, Olivia agreed quickly. I'm not minimizing cancer. I'm just saying that Penelope has a tendency to catastrophize. She looked around the room, inviting others to share in the joke. Remember the time she thought she had a brain tumor and it was a sinus infection? No one laughed. Can we please get back to the shower? Olivia continued. I have 3 more gifts to open and then we are doing games. Penelope, if you need to leave early to deal with your medical drama, that's fine. But please try to let me have this one afternoon. I should have left. I should have walked out right then. But I was frozen, humiliated, unable to process what had just happened. Actually, Dr. Rodriguez said, standing up from her seat. I think I need to leave. Olivia, may I speak with you privately for a moment? Dr. Rodriguez, I'm in the middle of opening gifts. Dr. Rodriguez's tone left no room for argument. Now, please. Olivia's smile faltered. She glanced at our mother, who nodded encouragingly, then followed Dr. Rodriguez out to the hallway. The rest of us sat in awkward silence. Through the thin walls, I could hear their voices. Dr. Rodriguez's calm and measured, Olivia's defensive and rising in pitch. I cannot believe what I just witnessed, Dr. Rodriguez said. You dismissed a patient's cancer diagnosis as minor issues. You mocked another physician's clinical judgment. You minimized a stage 2 malignancy. She's my sister, not a patient, Olivia protested. I was just trying to keep her from overreacting. By calling her cancer barely significant? By suggesting she's faking illness for attention? Dr. Rodriguez cut in. Olivia, I've had concerns about your bedside manner, but this shows a fundamental lack of empathy and clinical judgment that's incompatible with oncology. Dr. Rodriguez, please. I'm recommending your immediate dismissal from the residency program, Dr. Rodriguez said. Effective today. Through the doorway, I could see Olivia's face go white. You can't. This is my sister's issue, not a work issue. It's absolutely a work issue, Dr. Rodriguez replied. You demonstrated that you view certain cancers as not worthy of concern. That you mock patients who you deem anxious. That you dismiss colleagues' clinical decisions. That you're more concerned with your own convenience than patient well-being. These aren't qualities we want in an oncologist. I've worked for 3 years. And in those 3 years, we've received multiple complaints about your attitude toward patients with early-stage diagnoses, Dr. Rodriguez continued. About how you make them feel their cancer isn't real enough. I've defended you, suggested you were just learning, but what I saw today told me everything I need to know. You don't have the temperament for oncology. You're done. Olivia's voice broke. Please, Dr. Rodriguez, I'm pregnant. I need this residency. I'll apologize to Penelope. You should apologize to Penelope regardless, Dr. Rodriguez said. But that doesn't change my decision. You'll receive formal termination paperwork tomorrow. Clear out your locker by Monday. Dr. Rodriguez walked back into the living room. The guests had heard everything. The silence was suffocating. Penelope, Dr. Rodriguez said gently, approaching me. I'm so sorry you had to hear your diagnosis dismissed that way. Stage 2 breast cancer is serious, and Dr. Williams is absolutely right to move quickly. She's an excellent oncologist, one of the best. If you're comfortable, I'd like to give you my card. If you need a second opinion or just someone to talk through your treatment plan, please call me. She handed me her business card. I took it with shaking hands, an idea forming. Thank you, I said, then added deliberately, I recorded our entire conversation with Dr. Williams this morning. She explained everything in detail, tumor size, margins, treatment protocols. I've been recording all my medical consultations since my symptoms began. I hadn't been recording anything. But seeing Olivia's face pale further as she stood in the doorway, tears streaming down her cheeks, I knew the suggestion alone was enough. If there was proof of her dismissing legitimate medical advice, her chances at another residency would vanish completely. "Penelope, I didn't mean," Olivia began. "You did mean it," I said quietly. "You meant every word. You think my cancer is an inconvenience, an attention grab, a minor issue that's ruining your party. I was just trying to keep things in perspective." Perspective. My voice rose as I pulled out my phone. "I have cancer, Olivia. Malignant cancer. I'm scared. I'm terrified. And instead of offering support, you mocked me. You called my tumor barely significant. You said I was stealing attention from your baby shower. What kind of doctor, what kind of sister does that?" I held up my phone, pretending to stop a recording. I wonder what the medical board would think of this perspective. The threat was clear. If she fought Dr. Rodriguez's decision, if she tried to blame me for her dismissal, I had leverage. I didn't actually have a recording, but she couldn't know that for certain. "You always do this," Olivia said desperately. "You always make everything about you." "I answered a phone call," I replied. "You asked what was wrong. I told you. That's not making it about me. That's being honest when directly questioned." "Girls, please," our mother interjected weakly. "Let's not fight. This is supposed to be a happy day." "Happy?" I turned to her. "Mom, I just told you I have cancer, and you're worried about keeping Olivia's party happy." My mother looked stricken but said nothing. "I think I should go," I said, grabbing my purse. "I need to process the fact that I have cancer, that I need surgery, that my life is about to be turned upside down. And I need to do that somewhere where I won't be accused of being dramatic or stealing attention." Dr. Rodriguez followed me outside. "Penelope, please wait." I turned, wiping tears from my face. "I meant what I said," she continued. "Dr. Williams is excellent, but if you need anything, questions answered, support, resources, please reach out." What happened in there was unconscionable. No patient should ever be treated that way, and especially not by family. "She really lost her residency?" I asked, genuinely surprised my bluff about the recording hadn't been needed. "She did," Dr. Rodriguez confirmed. "We've had multiple complaints about her attitude toward early-stage patients. She makes them feel like their cancer isn't real enough to warrant concern. That's dangerous. It delays treatment, causes psychological harm, and shows fundamental unsuitability for oncology. Today just confirmed what I should have acted on months ago." "She's going to blame me," I said. "She should blame herself," Dr. Rodriguez said firmly. "She chose to minimize cancer. She chose to mock a patient's fear. She chose to prioritize her party over basic human empathy. Those were her choices, and they have consequences." I drove home in a daze, my phone exploding with messages. "My mother, *, you ruined your sister's shower. *. My father, *, please come back. We need to talk about this as a family. *. Olivia, *, I hope you're happy. You cost me my career. If you release that recording, I'll never work in medicine again. *. I smiled at the last one. She believed my bluff, and now I had written evidence of her acknowledgement of wrongdoing. I saved the screenshot, then blocked them all and called Dr. Williams. "Penelope," she answered immediately. "Are you all right? You sounded upset earlier." "I want to schedule the surgery for next Friday," I said. "Whatever you think is best. I trust you." "Good," Dr. Williams said gently. "We are going to take excellent care of you. This is scary, but you're not alone." I wasn't alone. I had a good doctor, a solid treatment plan, and a department chair who understood that all cancer is real cancer, regardless of stage. What I didn't have was my family's support. But maybe that was okay. Maybe I'd been seeking validation from people who were never going to give it. The following Friday, I arrived at Riverside Hospital for my surgery. The procedure went perfectly. Dr. Williams removed the tumor with clear margins. The lymph nodes were negative. I started radiation 3 weeks later, going to the hospital every weekday for a 6-week course of treatment. Olivia had her baby, a girl, 2 weeks after my surgery. I saw the announcement on Facebook where we were still connected but had stopped interacting months ago. I didn't call, didn't visit, didn't send a gift. Instead, I forwarded the screenshots of her text messages to 5 other oncology department chairs in our region, with a brief note explaining the context. Asterisk, I'm concerned about patient safety if my sister enters another oncology program. Her dismissal of early-stage cancer diagnoses as minor issues and barely significant demonstrates a dangerous lack of clinical judgment that could harm vulnerable patients. Asterisk. Though I had blocked my family's phone numbers after the shower incident, I kept my parents' voicemail active to monitor the situation. My mother left increasingly desperate voicemails. Olivia lost her residency because of you. She's devastated. She's trying to find another program, but no one will take her. Can't you talk to Dr. Rodriguez? Tell her Olivia was just stressed about the pregnancy. I deleted them without listening all the way through. Dr. Rodriguez called once to check on my recovery after she received my follow-up email thanking her for her support at the shower. You're doing well? Radiation going okay? Yes, thank you. And thank you for what you did at the shower. I did what was right, she said simply. Olivia needed to understand that all patients deserve respect and empathy. I only wish I'd acted sooner on the complaints we'd received. What will happen to her? I asked, feigning innocence, already knowing the answer. She's applying to other residencies, but word travels in the medical community. Most programs have contacted me for a reference. I've been honest about why she was dismissed. She'll likely need to pursue a different specialty. What Dr. Rodriguez didn't know was that her honest references were reinforced by the screenshots I'd strategically shared. No oncology program would touch Olivia now. They couldn't risk a resident who believed some cancers weren't worth treating properly. 6 months later, in April, I finished radiation. My prognosis was excellent. Dr. Williams was optimistic about long-term survival. I'd rebuilt my life without my family in it. Made new friends through a cancer support group. Started therapy to process the years of being dismissed and minimized. Olivia sent a letter to my apartment in July, 3 months after her daughter was born. We had lived in the same building complex years ago, and she correctly guessed I hadn't moved given my medical treatments. Asterisk Penelope, I'm sorry for what I said at the shower. I was wrong. I've had time to think about why I said those things, and I realize I resented you. You were always the older sister, the one who was supposed to have it together, and when you struggled, I felt like it reflected badly on me. I wanted you to be strong so I could look good by comparison. Asterisk. Asterisk, I'm in therapy now, trying to understand why I treated patients, and you, the way I did. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I understand now that I was wrong. Asterisk. Asterisk P.S. I know about the screenshots you sent to other programs. You didn't need to do that. Dr. Rodriguez's recommendation was enough to end my oncology career. I'm applying to pathology residencies now, no patient contact required. Maybe that's for the best. Asterisk. I read the letter twice, then filed it away without responding. She knew what I'd done. But what she'd never know was that I'd calculated the impact of those screenshots the same way she'd calculated the insignificance of my cancer. Clinical. Precise. Without emotion. My parents continue to call from new numbers occasionally, but I've maintained my distance. Our relationship remains severed, as they never acknowledged the harm caused by prioritizing Olivia's feelings over my health crisis. Maybe someday we'd rebuild something. But for now, I was focused on my own healing, physical and emotional, on surrounding myself with people who saw my cancer as real, my fears as valid, my survival as worth celebrating. Olivia had spent 3 years learning oncology but had never learned empathy. She'd lost her career because she couldn't see that every cancer patient, regardless of stage, deserves compassion. I'd almost lost my life because I'd spent years letting people minimize my concerns. We'd both learned our lessons, just in very different ways. The tumor was gone. The radiation was done. The scans were clear. I was surviving without them. And that was enough.